Right click on it and mute. All right, I'll be on in a minute. I'm trying to do something real quick. Because I want to keep it. Y'all give me a minute. I apologize. Uh, what did it say to do? Once you're live in your stream, play, you'll find it and you are live. Okay, I want to mute it. Privacy extension tools. Okay, I'm gonna go. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna X off of this, I think. Let's see, let me try this. 1, 2. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and go. I just X'd off of Instagram, and it still says that I'm live. So I pray that I'm live on Instagram. We're also broadcasting live on 3 Facebook pages as well as linked. Instagram for the second time, and also X, which used to be Twitter. I thank all of you for tuning in. This is Jamil Salib to me out of Manning, South Carolina. As promised, I would come back to you. This is part 2 of a 4-part series. Unfortunately, I lost the paper that was telling me the 4 different parts, but I will find it. The unfortunate thing about your mind moving fast is that you have so much information, you write so many things down. And I got 4 tablets here. I got all this stuff all over the place. So you write so many things down that you end up getting lost in what you wrote. So I apologize about that. It is, what time is it? It is 3:17. I hope that you all will stay on with me for an hour. Because we got a lot to talk about. It's 2024. That's the first thing I want to jump into really, really quickly once I get my camera right, so I won't be dancing all over the place. Let's see, slide you over there. So I won't have to dance all over the place. So my camera's right there. We're getting started. I want to get into this first. We are in the year of 2024. As you may have seen on the internet and other places, 2024 is coming in with a real big bang. A lot of truth being told, a lot of unfortunate things being revealed, but this is the year of revelation. 2024 is the year of revelation. So I want to go into the book of Revelation. We talked about this before, but I want to go back into it a little bit again. And each one of these things I'm going to touch on a little bit today. And the reason I'm touching on them a little bit, because I don't feel like it's necessary to go all the way back in. If you would like to see my first commentary on Meritorious Manumission, you can go to our personal website at the 19 Report on YouTube, or you can visit the 19 Report on Facebook, and you will see that information there as well. It'll come up. You just get to our page, the 19 Report, and you type in Meritorious Manumission, or you can go straight to Google, type in Meritorious Manumission, and the broadcast should come up because we have pretty good ranking considering where we are demographically. I wanted to talk about this today, but I want to talk about it in a way that all parties involved, including myself, will comprehend at this point where we are in the time of revelations, the time of revealing truth. And there's no telling whose truth will be revealed for the world to see, whose truth will be revealed for the community to see, whose truth will be revealed for individuals to see, process, and redirect our intentions accordingly, without lying to ourselves. So I thank you all for tuning in. I thank those of you who continue to support me. I want to say this: with a lot of people are now doing podcasts, and you're having events, and you're doing all these things, and you're tagging me in them. Well, if I go to your page and I scroll your timeline and I don't see anything of mine liked or tagged, I'm not supporting nothing you do. I don't care who you are. Mutual respect is where we are today. You must learn to treat people the way you want to be treated. I see some of you have thousands of followers, but you don't follow nobody. That's an insult. That's an insult. But we're in a day and time where people lord over people. We put people on high pedestals because of something they can do, something they possess, something we admire. And when you're in a world where people think so small of themselves that we can only see ourselves as worthy because of who we hang around, then you're in a dying society. So I want to go into this and pay attention very closely, please. This is 2024. For over 35 years, I've taught from the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, Master Farad Muhammad, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, and many others, Malcolm, many of your greats, about the 24 scientists. The 24 scientists are mentioned in the book of Revelations. The 24 scientists are mentioned in the book of Revelations in chapter 4, verse 4. 2024. 2 and 2 is 4, and 4 is 4. So 4, 2, 2020, those two twos is a 4, and then the 4 is a 4. We're in the time of Revelations. And then it speaks of 24 scientists. So before I go into Meritorious Manumission, I've done this before. I'm just going to be touching on some points, and then we're going to close it. I hope, again, that we're still live on Instagram, because I'm supposed to be able to mute Instagram before I go live in my software, but for some reason it will not mute. So what I get is a constant echo. So I have to X off of Instagram in order to do this. So I want to read this real quickly. The 24 elders, or the 24 scientists, appear in the book of Revelations 4 and 4 of the Christian Bible. They are described as follows. Before the throne there was a sea of glass like unto crystal. Round about were 4 beasts full of eyes. The 24 elders fall down before him and worship him that liveth forever and ever. In the yeah, let me get this a little bigger because I don't have my glasses on. I'm sorry. Yeah. The 24 elders are initiates. The 20 and 4 elders mentioned in the book of Revelations are initiates. No different than the initiates of a fraternity, a sorority, the Masonic order, of which I talked about in part 1 of this 4-part series. No different than Republican Party, Democratic Party, no different than Bloods or Crips or anyone that is initiated into a secret society. The initiation. The big difference of the 24 scientists mentioned in the Bible in the book of Revelations is that their initiation is to bring out all liars, to bring out all truth. And the purpose of bringing out all liars and all truth is because most of us have made a deal with the devil. And the devil is not an outside source of someone that with red horns and the tail and all that. We made a deal with the lower part of ourselves. And once someone who understands the lower part of self sees you and sees your talent and realize that you can be a benefit to whatever they hope to accomplish, they have the means, the money, the resources to come after you or offer you a deal and entice you. In the Bible, Satan offered Jesus a deal. He tried to entice Jesus on the mount. I'll give you this. I'll give you that. God said that. I can do this. Jesus understood the enticement. He understood the offer of meritorious manumission, and he rejected the offer. Get thee behind me, Satan, is what he said. So 24 scientists in the center of a huge hall and placed a throne. Around about the throne are 24 seats on which sit 24 elders, robed in white and wearing crowns of gold. In this assembly is introduced the Lamb that is to be initiated. In front of the throne are 4 remarkable beasts, living creatures. One of them is like a lion, another resembles an eagle. The third has the appearance of a calf, and the fourth has the face of a man. These beasts have 6 wings each and are full of eyes all over, and they rest not night and day, but keep on blessing the one on the throne. All of this is initiation talk. All of this is in the book of Revelations in your Bible, Revelations chapter 4, verse 4. I'm not going to explain to you about the beast, what the beast means, but look it up for yourself. Suffice it to say, God is on scene, not in his fullest form, but he has sent some 24 elders to make manifest the reality of what's going on in the world, how it's going on in the world, why it's going on in the world, and who sold you out. All the while you're thinking, you already know something's not right. Your family, your friends, your buddies, your gang partners, your day ones, your 10-toe down, everybody, nobody can be trusted. Now you're seeing again, the religious community is being rocked. The musical community is being rocked because everybody has to fend for themselves when the ball drops. In part 1 of Meritorious Manumission, I started off with the dream that I was given about Clarendon County, that a car came speeding past me under the bridge on exit 19, under the bridge. And I saw under the bridge that there were thousands of homeless people under the bridge. And as it appears as if though our community, Clarendon County and surrounding areas, was being blessed with growth, there were internal entities who had accepted the meritorious manumission or the offer to sell the people out for financial gain. And all the while we thought the community was growing, people were silently losing everything to the growth of a chosen few. Now I want to read what meritorious manumission means, and I'm going to go into gangs, drill music, politics, the boule, black entitlement, black politics, black privilege, black sellouts, and we'll be done. It sounds like a lot, but it's not a lot because I've gone over this by God's permission so many times. There's no need to keep going over it over and over again. I'm going to say this. Let's get into this meritorious manumission, the meaning of it. What is the Meritorious Manumission Act of 1710? Now, for those of you who don't know, during slavery in 1710, slaves were offered a deal. Under certain circumstances, if you would do one of 4 things for the slave master and for the white race, we will give you privilege among us. What is the Meritorious Manumission Act of 1710? How America developed. See how I be doing? You see what I'm talking about? Always into some mess. How America developed a culture of snitching and pro-established Negro leadership. Snitching and pro-established Negro leadership. Meritorious Manumission. The concept, I don't even want to get into all of that. Yes, I want to read this part. Quote, the concept of Uncle Tom didn't just crop up out of thin air. Again, Uncle Tom really was trying to save people, but we use Uncle Tom as a negative. So in this world, I live in a community now in Sugar Hill where I have neighbors who they're going to do whatever they want to do. And they got their whole family to back them up in whatever they want to do. And in their mind, there's so many and so tough. And they got political people in their family. They're living in the home of a political figure in Clarendon County. And that political figure has teamed up with another political figure in another branch of Clarendon County government to get homes and to change the rules. And unfortunately, they're Black. They have accepted the offer of Meritorious Manumission in hopes of getting away with crimes that is going to the detriment of the people of the community. And they could care less. The people who are given these opportunities of Meritorious Manumission are apathetic people. They have no heart. They have no soul. So they ain't selling no soul. They just don't have one. They can smile and they can do nice things, but they are evil as hell. And they don't care who they destroy in the process, as long as they're making money or taking some step to get above where they already are. And the only people that can contend with them are the initiates, the 24 elders, and Christ himself. God must deal with these wicked people. So in my talk today about Meritorious Manumission and how it works, don't get confused, because I talk to the police, but I never tell anything on anybody that I understand why they're doing what they're doing. But if something that you're doing is affecting my community, the people in my community, yes. And if you think that because you have so many people, whether it's a gang or family, or you have police on your side, corrupt political figures on your side, whatever it may be, then people must begin to turn to God, Allah, Jesus, whatever you call him, the one who sits on the throne, who understands the science of Meritorious Manumission, and who understands the science of the mind of an apathetic, and I don't like using this word anymore because we're taking it out of context, but a psychopath. I won't even say, I wanted to say narcissist, but let's say psychopath, sociopath. I had this dream, and I told you in part 1 of Meritorious Manumission that during that dream, the spirit took me into a meeting in Clarendon County with public officials, and I knew every face of the persons in the room. Some I didn't know, but most I did. And I heard the talk of nepotism, helping their family to get positions, and buying up properties, and being the first to take control of certain assets so that they could succeed. And these things being given to them by powerful whites who can offer them something of power and control. And all they got to do is accept it. Meritorious Manumission. The Meritorious Manumission Act was a law passed in Virginia back in the 1700s. as the propellant that spurred black people to snitch on one another, to get into the good graces of white people. You saw it in the movie Django with Leonardo DiCaprio and Jamie Foxx. I can't remember the step and fetch it name role that Samuel L. Jackson was playing, but he played it to the T. As Malcolm used to say, when the white man gets sick, we sick. When the slave master gets sick, we sick. We got a problem. We identified with them. And this is not racist talk. Because see, white folks talk about you in private. They call you different names, but the main thing they call you is minority, and that's synonymous with the N-word. The less fortunate, synonymous with the N-word. That's you and I. They talk about it, they plan about it, and they've used a manipulative system about it. Meritorious manumission. Under the law, slaves could earn their freedom by performing good deeds that impress their slave owners. Some black activists says that this law not only could cause black people to turn on one another, but ultimately resulted in the creation of black politicians who played along with the establishment instead of disrupting it. Some sources noted that the law was passed in 1710, while others documented that the history of the government of Virginia says it was passed in 1782. Now, this law, Meritorious Manumission, is also a part of Clarendon County of South Carolina. It has a name, and I knew the name, but I don't know it now. I mean, it just slips my mind. But look it up for yourself. In the 1700s, they found a way to give the power to black preachers, because the black preachers taught biblical texts from a white perspective and kept the slaves in line, believing that if they didn't hit their slave master, if they turned the other cheek, if they waited on Jesus, if they didn't buck or did anything wrong, they would eventually go to heaven. This is a concept that is being used right now today. Meritorious manumission. One goal was to, if you invent something that can benefit white folks and they can capitalize on, like the cotton gin and things like that. If you snitched on another black person, if you saved the life of a white person, what was the fourth thing? If you did something of value that kept white folks in the position of power. Now I want to get into this, because I want us to understand this very clearly. You all saw the video of Cat Williams. The stuff that Cat Williams said on that video in the Shay Shay with Shay Shay or whatever his name is. And that's not disrespect. I just remember Shay Shay. I know his name. I just can't remember it at the time. But whatever Cat Williams said, he already said. Like he said I've been saying this, but now you are listening. Why are you listening? Because we're in the time of listening. 2024 is the year of revealing all of the things that are wrong, and it's putting us in the valley of decision. We now have to decide with clarity where we're going to be. The gangsters and the gangster rappers and the killers and the murderers and the rapers and the scammers are saying they got to do what they got to do to survive. And the minute somebody like Cat Williams come on and start talking about Diddy or TD Jakes or any of your prominent boule upper echelon folk, we like to point fingers at them as if though they are the problem. But those of us who understand the pendulum swings both ways, those of us who understand as above, so below, most people don't realize that the pyramids in Egypt, as tall as they are up outside of the ground, they're that tall under the ground. As tall as a tree is above, there are roots in the ground just as low that keeps that tree going up. So everything that's going on below is going on above. But those of us in the streets think that it's those people's fault. It's their fault. but it's your fault too. It's our fault too. Because you and I have signed a deal with Satan, with this world, that the Bible says in the book of Revelations to come out of, because it has become a habitation of devils and all unclean and hateful birds. We signed a deal with this world. So if you're in your community and there's drug dealing in your community, and there's someone who and the supplier lives in the community, the supplier is like a god there, because the supplier can kill somebody, rape somebody, murder somebody, rob from somebody, and nobody's going to tell on them because they don't want to lose the supplier. Meritorious manumission. All of the unsolved murders in Clarendon County and surrounding areas are due to meritorious manumission. They're not going to tell on the person because the person is supplying them with something that helps them to kill more people. And as long as you agree to use your drugs and your guns and your violence and your savagery to continuously kill the lower people, the people who have everything to lose and no power, that's why the scripture says that the first shall be last and the last shall be first. We're in the period of transition. You all are bullying your community to the joy of another community that is gated, rich in resources, rich in all of the things that are necessary for a community and for their children to grow. And they keep you outside of that and give you the tools to be an uncle, to be, that's not even the right word, to assist in the killing of your own people. You all are no different. We're all under the law of meritorious manumission, rewarded for leading our people astray. When you look at drill music, when you look at the hip hop culture in Clarendon County, some of you will be successful. You will be hired by satanic forces to continuously destroy your people. And you're going to take the deal. And you're going to have guns in all your videos and masks and gang signs and killing and all of, you're going to perpetuate the destruction of your people. And you're going to put yourself on the wrong side of God, but on the right side of this world. Meritorious manumission. I'm telling you what has been given to me. I've seen it already. The homelessness, the drug addiction, people dying alone, the breaking up of family, the death of people in the community, neighbor to neighbor. Because this neighbor says, we tough, our last name is so and so. And this neighbor says, I'm with God. I am whatever God says that I'm going to do, whatever God says that I'm going to be, that's what I'm going to do. Then in the headlines, Negro on Negro, fighting over foolishness, meritorious manumission. What are you saying, Jamil? I'm saying they always put this image before us of what's going on outside of us to distract us so that we won't pay attention to what's going on inside of us, because most of us are too weak to battle our own demons. So now Puffy is the problem. T.D. Jakes is the problem. Cat Williams is the problem. All of these things are the problem, but no, sir, no, ma'am. Where you live, you and I are the problem, or you and I are the solution. The game has been played on a chessboard. There is a book called The Grand Chessboard, and I posted it up by Zbigniew Brzezinski. Long book, big book. There's another book called Tragedy and Hope. Long book, big book. Sometimes it takes months to read those books. But if you could just tap into the information a little bit and then tap into yourself. I want to thank you all for tuning in, and I hope that you gather something from this. My point being, it is time for us to look within ourselves, accountability. Stop looking at and lording over people outside of yourself, because they're not going to tell you nothing. There is no group in Clarendon County, Sumter, anywhere else for the holidays that taught anyone how to make money, how to make a living. All they did was give away stuff. See, giving away stuff is easy when you got the financial backing and the knowledge of the people to get the materials. That's easy, but it makes you look good. And the people who get the stuff that is being given away are literally never the people who need it the most. And this is not an attack, because I give away stuff. But my process is never put it on the internet. If I can help it, I will tell you some things, but not all. And a lot of people are that way. I worked with a lot of people this year whose intentions were great. Meritorious Manumission. Now I want to talk a little bit about the Black Boule. The Boule is the black version of the white upper class. The Boule started out, not a lot of black people. They're not collegiate. They don't have a ties to colleges. They didn't then, but they do now. The Boule's intention was to, and I'm gonna see if I can get this up here so I can have this up while I'm talking. Let me take this down real quick. I like the way this is going. And I want to play the first slide, and then I'm gonna try to find it. Yeah. W.E.B. Du Bois was a Boule. He believed that black folks, and you can see he's half white. And what happened with these colleges like Spelman and Morehouse and things like that, they're funded by white people. If they're not funded by the white male, they're funded by the white man's wife or his daughter, and that's how they got their last name. And if they're not funded by a white person, they put a black face in front of it. But the reason they did that is because they were impregnating so many black women and producing so many mulatto children, half white children. They didn't want those children to be like the slaves in the field. So they wanted them to be educated, but they were going to educate them to continuously build on a world that they created. So this man right here, Marcus Garvey. Marcus Garvey in the Back to Africa movement. Look at Marcus Garvey now, chubby fella, dark skin, peasy head, big lips, big nose. This man right here, the black guy, W.E.B. Du Bois, talked about Marcus Garvey, even called Marcus Garvey a monkey, an ape. And I believe this W.E.B. Du Bois ended up dying in Ghana or somewhere, and being buried somewhere in Ghana, because America never respected him. But he was a part of Meritorious Manumission. Destroy anything of power that was led by black for black. Marcus Garvey united 6 million black people between 1916 and 1926. Built huge black businesses, had a fleet of black ships in 1920, employed over 1,000 black people in New York City alone, created the red, black, and green flag we use today, the red, black, and green, Marcus Garvey, and much more. But because he was all black, pro-black, for black, the upliftment of black, he was a threat. So the establishment had to find someone intelligent enough, like a W.E.B. Du Bois. Of course, him and Booker T. Washington didn't agree on a lot of things. I wanted to be quiet while I put that picture up there for a minute. I hope you can see it on Instagram too. How the Boule sells out black society. Oprah Winfrey was a fat, out of shape, mentally disturbed young lady that agreed to go through the ritual, got her talk show, got her light to shine after doing her first broadcast. Her main broadcast was a broadcast out of Forsyth County, Georgia, where the Ku Klux Klan didn't want anything to do with black people. Oprah Winfrey has since destroyed R. Kelly, her and Gail, Michael Jackson, any black person she can destroy. At the same time, Oprah Winfrey lauded Epstein and the other Jewish guy that was found perverted that Cat Williams talked about. What is his name? The one who wanted to have oral, wanted to have perform fellatio on Cat Williams. It wasn't Epstein, it was the other one, the chubby one. Those are all friends of Oprah Winfrey. In my first broadcast of Meritorious Manumission, I talked about the color purple, and that was in 2018. I did that. And I talked about how there was no positive image of a black man in that movie, that it publicized and pushed the idea of lesbianism, the independent black woman, the religious father who was so caught up in his religion that he didn't have any respect for his child. Every image of the black man was destroyed in The Color Purple. Now y'all are flooding to the theaters, just wanting to see entertainment, but not realizing that this is a part of Meritorious Manumission. Destroy the black family. And Oprah Winfrey is a master at it. Jesse Jackson is one who's standing on the stage with Dr. Martin Luther King when he was assassinated. You read the story of that yourself. Of course, you know who Jay-Z is. And that symbol right there, the Boule Foundation in the middle, LeBron James has that tattooed on his chest. He's Black Boule. But here's the thing about the Boule. The Boule, they're not all bad. But when Satan finds a way to get into something to destroy it, he will. He will test it. And what Satan has done with the Boule is what Satan did with Eddie Long and with T.D. Jakes. Men who came up with good intentions, but who got sidetracked with their personal desires. And all they got to do is say, yeah, I did it. I was weak. You remember Jimmy Swaggart when he was caught in the hotel with the prostitute and he came on TV and said, I have sinned against you, my Lord. And they forgave him, lived to fight another day, and did it again. In our community, and everything that we talk about must relate to our community. And if you notice anything about Meritorious Manumission, understand this, God willing. In the 1700s, slave masters were after black men in religion who would teach religion from an all-white perspective. White man on earth, white man in heaven. White man control earth, white man control everything. As long as you did that. And then around 1700 and something, they started to include politicians into Meritorious Manumission. So now you got a combination of preachers, black preachers, who are either on county council or city council, but they're holding the ministerial position and the political position, and they're respected in the community, and whatever comes out of their mouth, you think it's directly from God, so you believe it. They will be allowed to rise above everyone in their community, and they will start to think themselves better than the people in their community. And the minute you get a taste of money, you want more money. And then you start this private life. Most of your politicians in town right now are guilty of extramarital affairs. It's hidden right now, But this is the year of revelations. It's coming out. You decide whether you want a morally upright politician or preacher, or rather you can care less, rather they do whatever they want to do. You're going to have to decide that. As Pontius Pilate forced the people of the time to decide whether Jesus should die or not. And remember that when you decide on the side of evil, you're killing the Jesus in yourself. That one initiate that I mentioned in the book of Revelations 4:4, that is being fed the spiritual food that he needs, is each of us. We're in the valley of decision. We're talking about meritorious manumission. I'm going to move on to the next slide. Bill Cosby, as long as he went along with the meritorious manumission's blueprint, you could teach black, you can uplift black, but you must push black people in the direction of having something that will benefit us. So we go to college, Howard, Spelman, other colleges, and we get the education and we take it right back to build this world. And the minute Bill Cosby decided he wanted to buy a television station, he became a problem. Do you know what happened with why Puff Daddy is in the situation he's in right now? Puff Daddy is in the situation he's in right now because Puff Daddy got big britches. And Puff Daddy was told to do something by Clive Davis and Jimmy Iovine. And Puff Daddy would not sign the contract that stated what he had to do and how he had to do it. So as they did with Dave Chappelle, they told Dave Chappelle, before you leave this room, we'll have people thinking that you are a drug addict. Because Dave Chappelle made $500 million and they only wanted to give him a percentage of 500 million, which was 50 million, I think. He didn't want that. So he said, I'm leaving and I'm going to tell the people what y'all did. And they said, tell them. Same thing with Puffy. Something he had to sign that he refused to sign. And he got one of the women that Jimmy Iovine violated to file a report against him, because there is a law in New York that's saying there's a statute of limitation to these rape claims, and it was about to go out in 2024. So everybody started filing their rape claims. Now Puffy gonna have to go through the whole thing. In the black community, some of the thugs and gangsters and drug dealers and killers that you think are untouchable, they are Boule members. They are signers of the contract of meritorious manumission, and they will tell on you as quick as daylight, and you won't even know they tell. Rick Ross is one. There's a lot of them out there. I don't want to call too many names because y'all get sensitive, and y'all get real sensitive. All of your fraternities and sororities, all of them are not involved in it, but that is the premise, the basis of their existence. We are better than you. We will give you some things. We will throw a party for you. We will give you little loans, but you will never be a part of what we are a part of. NAACP, the Democratic Party, all SNCC, what is the other thing? It's just so all of the organizations have signed this meritorious manumission. And the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught us that from the bum on the corner to the president, somebody is working for Satan. In your home, somebody is working for Satan. And most of you young people, I try to warn you, because this has been done over and over. But you just want to be something so bad that you are willing to sell out your people. See them, you know how y'all feel about funerals now? Oh, not my man. I'm hurting right now. Hey, yo, man, do me a shirt, man. See, I had to get out of doing death shirts. Like I told you, I lost a lot of money. Some people can't wait because they're going to make a lot of money. But we promote death like it's an honor. There are no honorable deaths the way we're dying. Let's move on. Meritorious Manumission. Let me look up this thing here. I'm gonna put this up here real quick. Black entitlement. And we're going to be closing in a few minutes. There are so-called woke people, black people, who are teaching about our greatness as black people. But we don't want to stop partying. We don't want to stop doing drugs, mushrooms, weed, cigarettes, cigars. And we think because we smoking a cigar, we look sophisticated. You don't even smoke the cigar right. Don't even smoke the reefers right. We are an addictive people. I'm trying to get you to the point by God's permission. We have two more commentaries to understand how this thing was set up. Some years ago, I did a commentary entitled The N-Word and the Frog. They took it down off of YouTube, but I have the video. And if you would like to donate for the audio of the video, just contact me. But the N-Word and the Frog was an experiment of how you put a frog in cold water on a stove. You constantly increase the heat on the stove, the frog will not move. The frog will try to adapt its temperature to the situation. So people in the ghetto under social programming, we try to adapt our mindset to the situation. Matching energy is what we call it. But that's just death. It sounds good. It sounds great. But all it is death. Matching energy. Because you don't know when to hop out of the hot water. So the frog stays in the water until it boils to death. Now, if it's boiling water and you put the frog in it, it'll hop out. But if it's cold water and you gradually increase the temperature, the frog will sit right there and die. That's an experiment on human beings in the ghetto. How to program black folks to just match energies until we die. And I did another commentary, the N-word and the flea. I caught that one in time. I took the N-word out. So I think that one is still up on the internet. How, if you take fleas and put them under a glass and allow them to jump around in that glass long enough, once you remove the glass, they will not move out of the pattern of the glass. And it would take something supernatural to make them move out of the pattern of the glass. The ghetto is nothing but social programming. Look at your pants. Look at your dress. Look at your tattoos. Look at your language. Look at how you treat women. Look at how you treat yourself. Look at how you justify wrong. Look at the drugs. Look at the broken homes. Look at your community of people flashing hundreds and thousands of dollars on their shoulder behind a dirty house, in a dirty room, in a dirty community. The same thing that these politicians are doing, buying up these properties and creating a slum. But they're getting paid and they move into a better neighborhood. This particular one got two houses, got one in Manning and one someplace else. But he ain't nowhere in the hood. And most of them got more than one house, but they ain't nowhere in the hood. They just come to make money. 2024 is the year of sacrifice, the year of death, and the year of revelations. But whatever is sacrificed, whoever dies, and whatever is revealed, it's going to attack those who have signed a deal with Satan, Meritorious Manumission, or anything else. We're almost closing. We are 49 minutes in. We're very good, very good. How the Democratic Party bought and sold racism in America. Anytime you see a black person and you hear the word Democrat, you think that's to our benefit. Now, not all Democrats are like this, but the majority of them are. They've chosen who they want to choose, and most of the time, whoever they choose are morally bankrupt. They have no connection to the people. They have no connection to themselves. That's why they can go to a Puff Daddy party and get drilled in the behind and get things stick up in their vagina, stick up in their little urethra in their penis, get spanked and beat. They have no feelings. They could care less. Just money, just prestige. And there is nobody in Hollywood, in rap, in hip hop, in singing, in gospel that has a moral standard. Very few. These things must be revealed because God says, if you never reveal it, I can't do nothing about it. At the same time, if you reveal it, you're risking your life. And that's why the image of Jesus on the cross is so important, because he had to risk his life to reveal the truth. But I want to risk it. I want to give my life to God for this. Because all of my children, I kept them out of this world. They just weren't strong enough to stay out. So they took a part of it, and all of my children got a part of it when I was trying my best to take the knowledge to show them how to escape it. I probably never will escape because I was born in it. Only mercy can get me out. Remember the story of Moses and the children of Israel? Moses didn't get out. Even though he was talking directly to God, he didn't get out. I'm willing to sacrifice that. So the people you see, most of them who got something, behind the door, they're doing everything that everybody else is doing. And that's why the people support them. Just as filthy as they want to be. That's why they get the support. But behind the door, if you're moral, if you got moral code, moral state, if behind the door you're saying, nah, I ain't gonna do that, you out. Let me put this back up here again so I don't forget what I'm talking about. We almost done, 52 minutes in. I might go over 10 minutes. We talked politics. We talked black entitlement. I want to talk about that a little bit more. My people in the ghetto, black folks, my people, are thinking just because you're black, you get away with everything. That's called entitlement. I can talk bad to the police. I can disrespect my mama. I can disrespect this. I can shoot at somebody. I can kill. We think we can just, that we have some form of entitlement. Pulling your pants down in public and shaking your behind and just being totally disrespectful. No accountability. All of this is going to be revealed. I told you at the beginning that God put me in a secret meeting twice. The second meeting, I was at the Weldon Auditorium at a meeting there with only white folks, drinking wine and talking about the N-words and what they were going to allow the N-words to do just to keep them calm, because you got to keep them calm. Barack Obama was to keep black folks calm because there was all of this police brutality going on, and we were about to tear the country apart. Not the upper echelon Negroes. They don't want their country torn apart because they're benefiting. But the street dudes was going in. And then they started offering money, the PPP loans and all that. Street dudes, 5% got. But all of them upper echelon folks, they got millions. Your politicians, your local administrator, they got money. But the people who need it didn't get nothing. I'm one of them. We're closing. I don't even want to talk about Jazzy Joe, but I'm going to say this, then I'm going to close. That man right there, along with Hillary Clinton, Bill Clinton, Barack Obama, labeled black men as super predators. And you had some black people that really needed to sell drugs and do wrong things to survive. Many of them were going to school and college and were on a fast track to success, but they had to supplement. And that group right there labeled black men as super predators. And for 1 ounce of crack or a $5 bag of weed, they were dishing out 30-year sentences, felonious charges against our people. Meanwhile, the same charges were not being implemented against their people. Jazzy Joe here, son, stole money from the government to pay prostitutes, robbed the government, smoked crack cocaine, did everything that the people in the ghetto did, and got a pat on the shoulder. You don't know nothing about that because you paying attention to what's happening with TD Jakes and them. It's all right. Somebody got to say it, because there's no politician or anybody that's going to back you when you talk like this, because they don't know how to take you, even though you're respectable. I didn't say all politicians are this way. I didn't say all preachers are this way. That's what you heard, but that's not what I said. In closing, there go Jesse right there with Martin, all of them. I mean, I want you to really understand the power of the people they put in front of you and the Meritorious Manumission connection. I want to make sure I said everything, because I'm gonna close. I wanted you to understand, God, by God's permission, how this thing really works. There is a reward system for destroying the Black community. And for those of you out there slinging dope, joining gangs and killing, you are proficient at killing. You're masters at killing. You understand killing, but that's not because you're a master at it. That's by design. You are a rat in a maze being tested. The guns are dropped in your lap so you can get them and shoot them and become desensitized, but you are no threat to nobody else but your people and your community. You're promoting this violence with all these guns. You're promoting this violence with all your all of your videos. As much as I understand what you guys are doing, I'm trying to warn you. You're going to have so much blood on your hands from this and this year that you may never be able to wipe them clean. And like with Puff Daddy and TD Jakes, you know that Cat Williams went through his spell of being arrested and felonious charges, and he got with a group. You thinking this is just one group of people, but it's a lot of groups. And he got with a group with just as much power as the group that was against him. So now he can speak like he speaks with the backing of someone else. Same thing with Dave Chappelle. They're not out of it. They can speak, but their allegiance is to another group. Because there are many groups who think that they know what's best for the people. But the one people that will remain at the bottom of the totem pole until we stand up, rise up, speak up, and stand up for what's right are Black people. We are the stone that the builders refused. Now they're coming in from the border and getting more respect than we ever got. I'm closing. Again, W.E.B. Du Bois, founding member of the NYC chapter of the Boule, said the Boule was created to keep the Black professionals away from Marcus Garvey. J. Edgar Hoover wanted to stop the rise of a Black Messiah. So he went after the Black Panther Party, he went after the Nation of Islam, he went after the gangster disciples, different gangs, different groups, went after Chief Malachi York, and then he went after oh my God, why do I keep forgetting his name? Larry Hoover. Because they had the power to raise the people up to another level of consciousness. Now everybody's trying to jump back into Islam again. Lil Durk just joined it. All of them joining Islam. Lil Durk comes from Chicago. That's the literally Detroit and Chicago. They're literally the birthplace of Islam. Why is he joining it now? In closing, I want to thank you all for listening. We all are part of this thing called the Boule, honestly. Meritorious Manumission and the reward for leading people astray. The black sellouts, they're all over the place. The gangsters that you think are gangsters are not gangsters. The people that you think just untouchable are really not. They're untouchable as long as they follow the script. Let me check and see if I finished everything. I think I did. Show my face so it'll open up here. Yeah, Meritorious Manumission. We talked about the elders. I want you to look into Pavlov's dog and the psychological training of a dog. And that's what they've done to our young people, that even their parents can't keep them on the right path. You got these young folks out here with a whole nother mind than the mind that they were raised in. Young folks who you saw grow up with respectable parents out here with guns and drugs talking about they got it out the mud. Psychological programming. School teachers who want to be thugs. School teachers who smoke more weed than a weed head. Everybody confused. They got us all under control. And once they catch you and they give you a pass, they own you. Pavlov's dogs. Edward Tallman theory of the rats in the maze. That's us in the ghetto. Always got to be a tough person. And the only way out of this is with Almighty God, Allah, and that's where I want to be, and that's where I am. In closing, manumission is the formal process by which a slave owner can give his slaves their legal freedom. Slave owners use the promise of manumission to ensure that slaves' obedience and often rewarded faithful servitude with manumission. The U.S. was not the only slave society to use manumission. It has been used throughout history in regions of the world that held slaves. You slaves in the ghetto, you gangsters, y'all ain't free, y'all slaves. It's the same routine every day. It's just that they got you high, they got you drunk, and you really believe that you're doing something different when it's all repetitive. They got the preachers and the politicians meshing together to keep the people asleep. They will give you motivational talk. And if you happen to climb up to where they are, they might let you in. But it's all coming to the head. Revelations 4:4, 2024. It's that time. This is Jamil Salib Zamir out of Manning, South Carolina. Thank all of you sincerely for tuning into this broadcast. I am gone.